y'all got to help me get a better understanding of how freight rates work. I don't work with load boards. I have been an owner operator for 4 years now, and I don't work on the spot market. I don't have any experience with that. I guess that's what you call it. If my terminology is wrong, feel free to let me know down in the comments. I was listening to a video the other day where the guy was talking about like some kind of community being put together where drivers could share rates on a particular lane so that they could, keep the rates up on that lane. And it got me to thinking, like, if I was a driver and I was going like in the situation where I was going to be working on load boards, I was going to be working on the spot market, what am I supposed to be doing to keep the rates up on a particular lane? That's kind of the question that I'm trying to answer in my head, because I'm thinking that, and I've heard this before and it makes sense to me, that you need to know your numbers, you need to know your cost of operation, what puts profit in your pocket and what costs to run your truck. You need to know all of that. And if a load, that's what you need to be factoring in when you're deciding whether to take a load or not. But if you break that down and think about it, that's kind of different than what the guy was saying the other day when he was like, a community needs to be put together where people can share rates so that they can keep the rates on a particular lane high. To me, that's a little bit of different thinking. And that's kind of what got me to wondering, if I was going to be working on the load board in that situation, what am I supposed to do if I'm looking to get home or if I'm looking to get out of a particular area and a load does pay me enough. It pays my cost of operation. It puts money in my pocket. It meets my minimum threshold. If it doesn't pay what it paid the last driver, and again, I don't know how this works. I've heard that there's apps that'll give you like the going rate on a particular lane. But again, if I don't know that, should I pass up that load because I don't think, or I communicated with the last driver that did it, I know him or whatever, and it's not paying me what it's gonna pay him, but it does pay my cost of operations? Should I not take that load because I'm lowering the freight rate on a particular lane? So just like all of this kind of got me thinking, like, why are freight rates down? You hear from drivers that freight rates are down because people are taking low freight, cheap freight. That's what got me thinking, should a person, when they get in a certain situation, should they be factoring in what the lane may have paid another driver, maybe a little bit more than it's paying you, or should they be thinking about their cost of operation? That's what we all say. I would think it's more about considering your cost of operation. But why are freight rates down? I'm thinking basically it's supply and demand. At the end of the day, that's always the core thing that happens when you got something like a trucking marketplace. You got freight moving, you got trucks that can move it. Sometimes you got more trucks, sometimes you got more freight. That imbalance is going to reflect itself in pricing. Seems to me like that is the reason. It don't really have nothing to do with drivers taking cheap freight. You hear people talking about brokers, broker transparency, brokers gouging the deal and not letting the driver know all the inner workings on the deal. Again, I don't work in this situation, so don't kill the messenger. I remember when COVID was here, and I didn't hear anybody talking about brokers gouging then. I didn't hear drivers talking about that during that time. So I mean, I don't know if it's fair to say brokers are gouging now because the driver isn't getting what they feel they deserve. I don't know if, you got to be fair. You got to be fair. So I don't know if I can go along with rates are down because of brokers. Again, I'm thinking it's more of a supply and demand issue. Maybe there's still too many COVID era trucks out there on the road. Again, too many trucks, not enough freight. Rates will be down. But I mean, I don't know. Is consumer spending down? Is there less freight to move? I'm wondering, are people, when they say we're not making anything as truck drivers, we're not making anything, are they really factoring in everything? Or is it just at the end of the week, at the end of the month, they feel that they ain't making no money? I guess what I'm saying is, like, has the cost of living gone up? I would think a person is factoring that in, but are people factoring that in when they say they ain't making money in trucking? Repair costs have gone up. Like, all of that stuff has gone up. Fuel has gone up. Maybe it just feels like you ain't making you ain't making more money. Like, I don't know. Let me know. I guess I'm thinking about all of this because I'm wondering at the end of the day, if I'm not going in that situation, but if I was, what could I do? Is there anything that I could do as the driver to make sure the rate stays up? Or do I, at the end of the day, really not have no control over that? And all I really should be thinking about is my cost of operation, my numbers, what I need to make on a particular lane, on a particular run, and how much another driver may have made on it is really, I mean, I would like to know, but it's kind of really irrelevant